up his children. Reach for introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching that talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up his children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all, did you hear me? He is the mentor. He paved the way with his tip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher principal collaboration. Things he give to you will have you take you drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education, leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation taught to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching that talk is to broaden their vision, the things they weren't taught when they brought up his children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all, did you hear me? He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology, really. Dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Welcome. Week 61, the Empowerment Zone, PDCast, you all. Always a blessing. Always thankful, so happy to be here. And I'm so happy that you have decided to be here with us as well. Go ahead, start dropping it in the chat where you may be streaming in from. I definitely want to hear from you. Also, please, as we go through the live stream, definitely like, share. It helps with the algorithms. We want to continue to get the word out, continue to get the message out, and empower ourselves, right? That's what it's all about. That's what it all comes down to. So I hope everyone has had a good, restful week, that you had an opportunity to have some relaxation. It is well deserved, especially if you're in the educator field. It's definitely deserved. I know what you're going through, and as you're coming down the pike over these next few weeks, as you go back in, generally about 3 weeks to go, you want to still continue to push. You want to still continue to be in the zone, continue to uplift and empower students, teachers, as well as the adults who are charged with leading the educational process. Got an opportunity to spend some time with family over these last couple of weeks, because I've been working on school improvement project in a neighboring state anyway. So I was able to come on over to my hometown, Clarksdale, Mississippi, and you'll see me in my Kahoma Community College basketball attire, where I was able to play at in my community college days. And you may have seen a post this particular week where I was out there at the game. My former ball player is the coach. And that's a great feeling when you're able to see the people's impact, the people's lives who you have impacted, see them continue to do well, continue to stay focused, and just continue to uplift other people as you have attempted to do with them. So definitely a big shout out to my brother now, my former ball player, Coach Dale Cannon. Kahoma basketball, one of only 10 HBCU community colleges in the nation. So shout that out if you're bad. That's what I'm talking about. Only 10. Yeah. And I was able to graduate from that. So we're proud of that. Another thing I got going on today, we're going to get to the content here in a little bit. My good friend, buddy, got his parents having their 70th anniversary, and they're 90 years old. So that's big. Reverend Johnny Cummins and his wife, my homeboy Kevin Cummins. So I just want to shout it out because that's huge, you all. That's huge. 70 years of marriage and they're 90 years old. So that's a blessing. And I just like I said, y'all, all the time, I love wonderful stories. I love empowerment. That's empowerment. Even if you're not married, if you are married, whatever, that's a story to be recognized. So we appreciate that as well. Give a quick, just a quick, if you pray prayer or a moment of silence, a few seconds of silence for our nation, I like to do that because we're going through some very trying times. So let's give a couple of seconds just so that we can embark on a good professional development today, but still keeping in mind that we're in a constant battle. We're in a constant battle to improve our lives, to improve our surroundings, our community. So let's definitely take a couple of seconds. It won't be long. A couple of seconds right here, you all. Yeah. We just got to keep going. We got to keep going. Got NAPSI coming up in a couple of weeks as well. I was able to work with my people who are doing the school improvement project, so I will be able to get in there for at least one day. So again, that's big as well. Be my first time, so I'm thankful for that as well. So as we get ready to go into some content, go into our prelude for today. Good afternoon, Sister Principal Kenya Session. OKC, definitely appreciate you. As we get ready to go into some content here, you all like to always come with a prelude. And today, as we get ready to get into our major topic of how leaders and teachers can impact student mastery through skill building. Through skill building. Want to give a little prelude and just talk real quickly about you can't improve what you don't intentionally build. Whoa, what do you mean you can't improve what you don't intentionally build? It has to be intentional, meaning that skill building, just like reading, it's not automatic. You know, for so long, they made it like reading was something that we're supposed to automatically know how to do. Reading and writing, they are both skills that have to be explicitly taught. And there's a big individualized and social emotional learning component infused in that. So reading is really an equity issue. And guess what? So can skill building be. So it's something that we have to intentionally and purposefully work to. It has to be sort of like engineered, so that mastered, so that we can have that mastery come into play. So you want to design everything so that mastery can come about, or else you're going to end up settling for just being mediocre. And we don't want to ever be mediocre. We want to always be top tier. So when we think about those things, and we say that you can't expect what you don't inspect, right? I understand it, but you also can't inspect what you don't establish, what you don't build. So if we're not building towards it, it won't take place anyway. So it's crucial to understand that we've got to be intentional in everything that we do as educators. It's a big deal, you all. And just to kind of smooth that out, we talk about vision. We talk about vision that leads to the results, but that skill building in the middle, that's the bridge. That's the bridge. Because how are we going to get the performance results unless our students, our teachers, our leaders have the skills to actually do it? So as we think about those things, we're going to get ready to move into our topic for today. And again, definitely y'all we appreciate it. I thank everyone for sharing. I thank you for just being here as we get ready to go into today's topic. How can leaders impact? How can leaders impact, right? How can leaders impact student mastery through skill building? Whew, that's a big one now. And as we get ready to think about it, I want you to first off understand that leaders are the heartbeat. Leaders are the heartbeat of their school. So as the leaders go, the teacher's going to build their habits off of what the leaders want to see. And then the students, they get their confidence from what the habits of the teachers are, because if they're building up skills, guess what? Those kids are getting the confidence. And we're going to talk a little bit further down about these spiral curriculums and how this skill building works within that same process, because it has to be worked together. I know you like your spiral curriculums. A lot of them are state adopted or what have you, but we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot sometimes when we try to teach 5 skills and they hadn't mastered 1. So there's a method to this madness. There's a method to building skills. There's a method to put teachers, students, leaders in positions where they can be continually successful. Not just successful for one day, one time, or one test, but you give them the skills and the outlook so that they can continue those skills into life, right? And that's what it's all about. So you're the heartbeat, and you want to know, are students mastering skills or are they completing tasks? Huh? Are they mastering skills or are they just completing tasks? See, if I'm mastering the skill, it goes with me. If I'm just completing a task, it's going to stay on that paper, right? So there's a transfer of that knowledge when you talking about building up skill. It's deeper than just me doing work. It's deeper than just providing worksheets. It's deeper, right? Because it's got to be intentional. And guess what? We learn through repetition. We learn through getting those reps in. You build up muscles through getting those reps in, through doing what you need to do every single day. And it's got to be a process. Woo! You say systems establish a clear progression map. Yeah. And we're talking about pacing guides, right? We want to definitely have our pacing guides in place, but a skills progression map that's going to isolate, that's going to, you're not necessarily going to teach them in isolation, but you're going to have the skills in a format where you can see exactly what skills that you're learning. So you're going to pick those 5, probably 5 to 10 essential skills that fall under a bracket of standards. And you're able to do that. Now we're able to punch in, we're able to master in, we're able to focus in on what exactly is the learning to be. You want to always know what skill is to be learned, what grade level, what are the prerequisite skills, what was supposed to be learned in the grade before this particular skill, what's supposed to be learned after this particular skill. All of that matters. And you have to be cognizant and intentional about ensuring that that continues to take place, because it's not just going to take place just because I got a pacing guide. I ain't trying to hurt anybody's feeling today, but it doesn't take place just because I have a pacing guide. Even if I'm staying on pace, I'm going to say that one more time. It doesn't matter if I have a pacing guide or even if I'm staying on pace if the kids are not mastering the skills. You can't get them to grade level unless they're mastering the skills that pertain to those particular grade levels. It makes so much sense when we break it down, we thinking about it, because we want our students, our teachers to have success. So putting them in a situation to be successful is crucial. You want to reduce those skill gaps. You want to reduce those gaps in skill. Again, skill goes with you. Compliant, it just stays back. Tasks, they just stay back. They on the paper. I didn't comprehend it. It was something I just had to do. I did not understand the purpose. It did not mean anything to me. It was not in a format that I could understand it. It was in a big, long passage that perhaps the young lady or young man could not read, could not understand or comprehend because they didn't have the skills that go along with ensuring that they master that, right? So that's something that we have to think about. And it's not just about the standard. It's about those skills that are within those standards as well. And you can check for accuracy. You can check for fluency. You can actually check for confidence levels. You can talk to your kids to find out what they're learning and what they don't know. Same thing with teachers, leaders. You got to bump down. Everything bumps down. District level, school level, teachers, students. And it all impacts everything that we're doing every single day. But guess what? If you monitor the skills, the scores will monitor themselves. Let that sink in. You monitor the skills, the scores will monitor themselves. I already know if I've monitored skills, I already know come benchmark assessment, how they're going to score. I already have seen what performance levels they're on. I'm already able to integrate that into what I'm able to do. And the other thing that falls under this part of the conversation, you got to model consistently. You got to keep modeling. You got to keep modeling. Do many modeling lessons in classrooms, teachers and leaders. It doesn't stop. You got to continue to feed, continue to build. Remember, we talked about intentionally building up the process, intentionally building up skills. That intentionally builds confidence. That intentionally then goes into your performance. If I don't have the confidence that I can master the skills within this set of skills, I don't master the content. I might get a little better at it. I might improve some because of the repetition, because I've seen it here and there in spots. But for me to have it broken down into smaller bits where I'm mastering skill, I'm building confidence, I'm getting the time in with my pen. I'm getting the time in with my pen so that this skill can build. That's a different mindset. Now, when you give me that chunk, I've already been able to chunk out these things within my work. I've already been able to do that. So I'm then able to go into a bigger or more intense piece of work because I put in the work. Y'all, we talking good. We're going to tell you something. We're going to tell you, we're going to empower you today. And every single time we get on here, we're going to empower. And it's all about providing support because sometimes we need just a different way, just a minute change to get those big results. Because if we dig in and we think about some of those things, we know what our kids need. We know what they need, but we got to have the courage to step in and do those things to ensure that, okay, you want the district curriculum in place. I want to make sure I've got that in place, but I also want to make sure we infuse these minute lessons, 5 to 10 minutes in as well across the board in every classroom so that we can build skills in addition. That's powerful, you all. Sometimes you just got to figure out how to get it done. Sometimes you just got to figure out how to maneuver your schedule. Sometimes you got to figure out how to just make it happen because guess what? It's happening in a lot of places. See, you notice I'm always talking positive. I believe in the impossible. I believe in being able to move mountains. I believe in that. So we can't accept that it can't be done or that we're not doing it. We got to keep coming with it. So that's crucial, you all. Thank you so much, Sister Session. That's so good. Skill must accompany intentionality. Yes, indeed. That's what we are on today. Now, we want to push this down to, we talked a little bit about some of those things that leaders have to do in order to encourage the skill building, set up a skill building environment, a culture of mastery, so to speak. You want to have a culture of mastery. And when you're looking at that, I talked a little bit just now about the daily mini lessons, right? We talk about little mini lessons where they can target those skills. Then you look at the modeling piece that goes within that. The I do, the we do, the you do. That can't be a ritual. That's got to be the mastery pathway. That's got to lead the way. I was coaching a few weeks ago, and one of the things that I gave in feedback was that modeling, we want that. We want to see that every single day. Even if you think they've already mastered the objective, still come back, model what you need to see. Because guess what? When we see things, research says 7 to 8 times, we have a better understanding of those things. So you can't model too much. You want to, I know sometimes it's really easy to skip the modeling piece. You save 5 minutes maybe here or there. But at the same time, leaders, you want to make sure you're encouraging that modeling piece, that is not left out. And teachers, you want to make sure that you're doing that modeling piece every single day. Students need to see it done. We need to see it done. I'm a visual learner myself. I love reading and writing as well, but I love to see it. Research tells us that we learn at 65 to 400% higher rates when the learning is accompanied by visuals. That's why visuals has to be an initiative in your school if you're trying to improve. I'm going to say that again because you might didn't hear that. You might didn't hear what I just said. If visuals is not an initiative in your school, I mean a focal point, because teachers, you want to make sure that they understand why you're enforcing or you're asking to have these visuals in place, not just on the wall, but we reference them. Because now when I reference these visuals, use them in the context of the lesson, when I take it down, guess what? It's still embedded in the visual learner's mind. I can't make this up, you all. This is what we got. These are the connecting pieces to building up your school. You got to explain why. You got to tell your people why we're doing these things. Why are these visuals so important? Why are these cooperative groups so important to the social and academic dynamic for our students? Y'all, we on fire today. I hope we here. I hope y'all when we giving thanks, and that's whether you believe in Thanksgiving or not, because it should be a year-long thing anyway. So you got to spiral with a purpose. The spirals aren't any good if they don't have the individual skill. I just mentioned that earlier. That's the connecting piece as well, not only with the leaders to be able to encourage it, but teachers, you got to understand it as well. You want to have that mastery, then you spiral, then you strengthen the skill, then you come back, you apply it, and guess what? Now it's time to evaluate. Now it's time to evaluate. Now it's time to look at what have we done? Mastery, spiral, strengthen, apply, evaluate, and in that order. Go back and play it back and write that down if you didn't catch it the first time. Because we spend that real instructional leadership today. Because look, you all, God didn't just bless me to turn around 5 schools with the teams that I had, because it wasn't me, but be able to lead that and spearhead that for any reason. That's why I want to be able to come on here and encourage everybody and empower everyone who is in that battle. Because it starts over every single year, sometimes every semester, and you got to love it. You got to dig into it. You got to want it. You got to want it as the leader, right? And next, we're going to talk about skill-based discussions and writing, having the students to talk about or to write about the skill that they learn. We don't do this enough. We do the test. We even make sure they did the task or the test, and they get it for that moment, but that why. We want them to also be able to know why this skill is important. That's going to help them continue the growth. See, you feed me now. Now you're not just demanding me to learn. Now you feed me. That's a different mentality. That's a different way of thinking. That's a different way of moving. That's a different way of educating. See, you can spiral somebody into confusion. See, the spiral, that's a spiral. But if I don't have any mastery in there, I'm getting recycled. I'm in a circle. I'm in a blender. I'm frustrated. It's tornado-like, a spiral. But now I get those skills. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 skills in here, in this spiral. Guess what? Now I'm able to control it. Now I'm able to work that spiral. That's a different mentality. I had to give you that visual. I know my hands just working, but that's what we're looking at. That's what we're looking at. That's the mentality that we're approaching students with. We want you to learn all these particular skills. And I know from your data that you're not on grade level. It doesn't add up. So now that means I got to do something different. I got to scaffold a little differently, because skill building is a form of scaffolding. Yeah, they're different, but that's a form of scaffolding. So when I know these things, I'm able to move a different way in my leadership, move a different way in how we're integrating all of our process throughout the school, you all. And you want to make sure that they're able to analyze the errors. You want to make sure that they're able to fix it until it sticks. You want them to fix it until it sticks. Being able to have that repetition. Again, that's one of the most powerful ways to help students learn at higher levels. That was one of my slides in one of my recent presentation I posted it, and there were 5 R's that aid Black student learning the most, and repetition was one of them. So fix it until it sticks, until it's learned. Those tasks might change, but guess what? As I said before, the skills, they don't change. They don't go nowhere. They coming with me. I'm taking the skills with me. I'm taking them to the next grade. I'm taking them to the next job. I'm taking them to the next community, because it's a skill. It wasn't just a task. It meant something to me. It was explained to me why. I was able to take it, break it down, learn it, and then I can live it. So we have to be able to think that way. And the third piece under this, y'all, I told we're going to be moving to that. I got a celebration to go to. I'm going to have a good time too, because I was in those people's houses at 5 years old. Me and my friend been friends for, So I believe in relationships, maintain those relationships. We've been friends since we were before elementary school. So why do resources matter? Why do the resources even matter when you're talking about building up skills? You can't build skills if you don't have the right tools. If you got tools that are wrong, you're going to frustrate the learning. But if you got the tools that are right for your particular student, you're going to accelerate the learning. That's powerful in itself. But we have to first recognize what are the tools that we're using. We have to first be able to analyze how this fits into what we're doing for our students and where our students are. All of this is crucial. All of this takes an extra eye. It takes us to be able to really dig in, to really look, and to contemplate on what our next steps are for our students. Yeah, we want it to be rigorous. We want it to be relevant. We want all of those for it to be right, but we want to make sure that it's appropriate, that it's doing what it needs to do as far as building our kids. So it's not just a scratch out. It's not something that they're going to partially learn. So a lot of times that happens when we don't center in on the particular skills that go within standards. We learn part of it. And if I learn part of it, I can only master part of it. If I only learn part of it, I can only master part of it. Because think about it, your reading comprehension or even some of your math state assessment items, all of the answers are right there in the text. But we okay with getting 75% because we mastered part of it instead of the whole thing. You hadn't thought about it like that, hey? Because the kid scored a 3, but it could have been a 4 potentially, or they scored a 2, and we know we're gonna move them to 3, but we could have already had them at a 3 had we mastered the skills along with spiraling the curriculum, along with ensuring that all the skills are taught together so that we can make sure that our kids get where they need and what they need. Y'all, we on fire. We on fire today. Focus on supporting student confidence. Yeah, I'm gonna say that again. We got to focus on supporting student confidence. You build skills. Confidence helps you build those skills. When I'm beat down, I'm downtrodden, I'm in a way that I'm not feeling well about myself or the environment that's around me, I can't learn at high levels. So we got to make sure that we support student confidence with our resources, with the type of resources that we use. Yeah, we want to be culturally relevant. We want them to be exactly on par with our grade, but guess what? We also want to make sure that the resources help them master the skills. I got to let that sink in. We got to make sure they master the skills. We're moving so fast. You can still move fast in skill mastery. You can still integrate in what you need, because guess what? It should be a differentiated learning environment anyway. Does this actually help our students master the skill? That should be a question. Does it fit into our instructional model? All that important. Are we going to be able to implement it, or is it going to be stressful? Is it going to cause us to freak out, or is this something that's going to, all right, slow the pace down, but it's still keep us on pace and give us confidence? And I'm talking about teachers and students, because guess what? The teachers get confidence as well when they see students mastering skills. The leaders get confidence as well when they see their teachers growing great habits. Y'all, this is collaborative talk. This collaboration nation. If you didn't already know by now, the people that's been coming, y'all already know. And by the way, if this is your first time, hopefully it won't be your last time. We're on fire all the time, right? This week 61, we proud of, we happy about it, and we're going to keep empowering. This is the Empowerment Zone PD cast. Who you know got a PD cast? Who you know got a PD cast, baby? We got a PD cast over here on this side. Thank you, Sister Doc Makita G. Definitely appreciate you coming in. Always sharing out. We appreciate you so much. Appreciate you so much. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So, and when we continue on, you all, those are just a few ideas. We got to understand that mastery is built. You know, those were some of the things that we came out with, understanding that mastery is built. It has to be an intentional thing. And how do we make it intentional? Zone in on some of those critical skills, you all. Zone in on some of those critical skills. That's what we want to do. That's what it's all about on this side. You build a system. You build the system. You build the system as leaders, right? You build the habits as teachers, right? You build confidence in the students through those processes. And the outcomes come school-wide. You got to build outcomes. The outcomes just don't come. And you all, as always, before we get ready, because I want to show you something, because we on our way, and we're going to continue to push. We're going to continue to provide second grade skill master. And we got reading literature, reading informational, speaking and listening. We got third grade, fourth grade, right? They're all color coded. Fifth grade. Yeah. We on fire today. We talking about skills mastery. See, when you find a gap and you understand that people need the support, our students need the support, we have to be able to step in and provide. We got to empower people. We got to help our students master the skills. And the only way to do that is to have the correct resources, right? Whether it's second grade, seventh grade, whatever it is. We got to provide our students with the resources. We've got to provide our teachers with the resources. How do you do it? How do you do it? By making sure it's intentional. It's going to lead to better outcomes. That's the truth. That's the truth, you all. So as we think about those things, I want to also make sure that if you have not picked up my other books as well, Dip Approach for Educators, Empower Education Community Guide for Teacher Principal Collaboration. And in fact, I got these right here. Let me take that down. Yeah. If you haven't picked those up, we all connected. And of course, those are for our educators. And the critical skills mastery books. These are student resources that's going to help students for a very, very long time. We already got those piloted. We're working them in Florida. So you all don't be afraid to reach out, because I just want to support. And I do whatever I need to do to be able to support. I hope to see you all at NASB, National Association of Black School Educators, in a couple of weeks. I'll just be there in attendance. I can end up giving me a one day, and I'm going to check it out. I'm excited about that as well. So with that in mind, you all, I know that we on fire today. I hope that you are able to get some great information, something that you can build into what you already are doing in your schools. That's what the important part is about, you all. I don't claim to know it all. In fact, especially when I was in the building as a leader, I rely heavily on my people that were around me in order to build up resources, in order to make sure everyone had exactly what they needed. And here's the catch: when they need it. See, if you need it now, 2 weeks from now, it's too late. So you got to make sure that you're already ready. You can't wait to get ready. You got to already be ready. So when you think about something that you might need, I want you to think about me. I'm asking you. Think about me, because I only want to support. I've been in that seat. I know what it takes. I know that sometimes we need that little extra perspective, that extra resource, so that we can get the extra improved outcome. You all, we're going to be ready to sign out as you continue to learn, lead, and love with your heart. Continue to be courageous so that you can drive out all fear, and continue to search for wisdom so that we can find our true purpose and lead in our educational spaces, places, and communities. Signing off, you all, so much love in my heart. Y'all have the best rest of your weekend. Out of here.